Salamander is the spirit of fire, and serves Fana and later Fugolian Vermilion. In a cave outside Nairn, Salamander is summoned by Fana and uses its breath to blast Yami Sukehiro. When Fana squares off against Nizel Silva, Salamander defends its master. When the Eye of the Midnight Sun attacks the Witch's Forest, Salamander has grown much larger, and can carry Fana. Salamander launches a fireball that destroys a large section of the forest and begins a forest fire. When a large security golem rises from the forest and attacks, Salamander easily destroys it, shocking the witches, who are then captured by the Eye of the Midnight Sun. The Black Bulls arrive on the battlefield, and after they free the witches, and take out several members of the Eye of the Midnight Sun, Salamander releases a fireball, which Asta reflects back. Salamander counters with a second fireball, causing a large explosion, and Fana emerges from the smoke and declares that she will kill Asta. Fana dives at the Black Bulls and has Salamander swipe at them. They dodge, but the surrounding forest is destroyed and catches fire. Asta leaps off a falling tree trunk and slashes Salamander, cutting the spirit with the Demon Slayer sword. Noelle defends against Salamander. PNG. Salamander boils Noelle's water magic. When Fana remembers her past and her rage grows, she opens her third eye, and her overflowing sinister magic increases Salamander's size and power to monstrous proportions. Salamander dives at them, and the heat rising from Salamander's body knocks them back. Salamander attacks again, and Noelle Silva protects her friends with Sea Dragon's cradle. However, Salamander causes the water boil with just contact and destroys it with an attack, forcing the Black Bulls to retreat on makeshift brooms. Fana and Salamander appear above them and attack, but Noelle counters with Sea Dragon's roar. Fana defends by enlarging one of the clumps of crystals, and although the water spell tears through it, the crystals provide Fana time to dodge. However, with a wave of her wand, Noelle turns the water dragon around, slamming Fana and Salamander from behind, and dealing heavy damage to both. Salamander then falls because of its destroyed right wing, and Finral Rulikos and Asta try to take the opportunity to finish off their opponents. Fana attacks them with Swarm of Harps, which Asta destroys, and heals herself. With her thread magic, Vanessa Inateka slings Asta forward as Salamander finishes recovering. The spirit blasts Asta with fire, but the boy's swords allow him to pass unscathed. He then bisects Salamander, and Fana is left in disbelief. Salamander manages to recover and reform itself. As Fanzel Kruger and Mars reach the battlefield with Ladros following, Fanzel calls out to Asta, and Fana and Salamander take advantage of Asta's distraction to attack. Fanzel tells Asta to knock the fireball at him, which the boy does, and uses his wind magic to direct it into Ladros. With one enemy down, the group turns their attention to Fana and Salamander. Salamander attacks Mars when he approaches Fana. Confused and desperate, Fana activates her self-destruct magic, and Salamander merges with the cloud of mana and lashes out at Mars and Asta. When the two reach Fana, Asta cuts through the mana, just before it can explode, and Mars rushes in and frees Fana from the elf spirit. With Fana's anger gone, her flames and Salamander dissolve. After Ladros is stabbed by Asta's Demon Dweller sword, he is desperate for more mana and forces Fana to unleash Salamander, which Ladros absorbs and uses its power to fight Asta. However, Asta uses Black Meteorite to cut through, and remove Salamander's magic from Ladros. Months later, Salamander drops down from the sky and partners with Fugolian Vermilion. Together, they overpower and restrain an elf-possessed Randall Luftair. Salamander then shows Fugolian the locations of others possessed by elves. When they reach Clover Castle, Salamander helps Fugolian defeat a possessed Golden Dawn, and then carries Fugolian, Mereoliona, and Mimosa Vermilion into the Shadow Palace. As they enter, the magic knights are scattered throughout the palace, with Fugolian landing in a chamber with the possessed Kaiser Granvorka. Fugolian has Salamander attack the elf, who blocks with vortex magic. Salamander is then used as a distraction so Fugolian can get in close to the elf and punch him. After Zagrad's magic stars pouring down from the topmost floor, Salamander carries Fugolian and two unconscious elves through the palace. When Zagrad survives Lict's spell and floods the Shadow Palace with more magic, Lict and Lemuel Silvamillion Clover then send out protective auras to the elves, which also protects those nearby from the devil's magic. When Lemuel's magic gives out and the protective light disappears, Valtos saves the magic knights and elves with his spatial magic, bringing them to the topmost chamber. A few days later, Fugolian and Nizel interrupt the fight between the Black Bulls and Damnatio Cra during Asta's trial. Fugolian catches group of devils. PNG. Fugolian and Salamander attack the devils emerging from Spade Castle. 6 months later, during an invasion into the Spade Kingdom, Fugolian summons Salamander to assist in defeating multiple Dark Disciples. After the first gate's opening unleashes a horde of devils, Fugolian and Salamander head outside to help protect the civilians. However, the devils resist the flames and flying devils distract Salamander and Fugolian.